the greatest addiction on earth is not drugs, it's sugar. Majority of people on earth are addicted to sugar, and the sugar means anything that burns into sugar, whether it's your starches, whether it's your grains, whether it's actual sugar. Majority of people are addicted. They don't even know it because a lot of the lifestyle diseases that we are seeing in our day, but it's worth it to break off from them, to get healthier and learn a different way to eat. Hi everyone, it's Judy Karanja. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about relationships, family, wellness and faith. I'm excited because today we finally get to do wellness. This is the one topic I've not really handled since we began. I'm really passionate about wellness because I'm passionate about families. When someone is unwell, whether short term, whether chronic, whether long term, it affects the whole dynamics of a family. The health of a family, the joy of a family, the finances of a family are all affected when someone is unwell. And the best scenario is always to be able to, through wellness, through our activity, through what we eat, through how we live, our lifestyle, be able to stay healthy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And specifically today I focus on weight loss because this is a major part of well-being and of health. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medic, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just sharing with you what worked for me and hopefully can work for you. I found a system that worked for me that helped me lose weight to a point that I weighed as much as I weighed before I got married. Many of us who are married with children know that pre-marriage weight that becomes a far-fetched vague memory and you never think you'd go back there. I told myself I'm big boned, I told myself it's genetic and all the excuses we give each other. Oh, it's because I had the babies. Then after 10 years you think, okay, maybe it's not the baby, maybe it's just me. And then I found this thing that worked for me and I thought, let me share it with you. For some of you to resonate and you'll be able to use it for drastic weight loss. Maybe you're really overweight and you need that push to be able to lose the weight, and you may continue it or you may now find another way to sustain the weight loss once you get to your target weight. Another disclaimer, this is not to say that you have to be slim or small or trim to be attractive. I think you have a weight that you're comfortable with, that you think you look good in, you like your clothes in, and that's the weight that we are talking about. For most of us, it means losing weight. Of course, there are those who want to add weight, but many times you find somebody needs to lose weight. There's also a healthy weight according to your body mass index, your BMI, that you need to calculate and know that at this weight, I'm at an ideal weight to keep away lifestyle diseases. I lost weight when I was 4 months postpartum. I just had a baby. I lost 16 kilograms and I kept it off. So I know this system works. I know that it can work for you if you do it and you do it well. Yes, I had tried other weight loss methods before. I had done the cabbage soup diet. I had done the juicing diet. I had done this diet where you eat, what is it called? I had tried not eating sugar, not eating wheat, not having milk. You know, those things that add to weight loss, and I tried all of them. And the thing with dieting, especially crash diets, that is anything less than a lifestyle change, that is anything less than a couple of months, you will lose weight very fast. You will lose 3 kilos, you lose 4 kilos, 5, 6, 7 kilos in a week, in 7 days, in 10 days. A lot of that is water weight. So when you do this diet, because you reduce your carbs drastically, and carbs absorb water. If you put a loaf of bread in the sink and if you put a piece of meat in the sink, after a while if you come back, the loaf of bread has absorbed water, but the meat does not absorb much water because of its structure. And that's the nature of carbohydrates. They absorb the water. That's why if you eat too many carbs, then you feel bloated. This water is not necessarily bad because it holds our electrolytes, your calcium, your potassium, your magnesium, your minerals are in the water. And when carbs help you hold that water, they help you hold your electrolytes. The problem is when we eat too much carbs, and then it leads to bloating and it leads to inflammation and all those other conditions. Listen, there doesn't exist any method of weight loss that will continue having effect once you stop it. So people say, well, if I stop, won't I add weight? Absolutely. If you stop jogging, you'll add weight. If you stop gymming, you'll add weight. If you stop walking, you'll add weight. If you stop doing whatever it is you did to lose the weight, you will add weight. There is no system that exists that continues to work when you stop it. So sometimes people use that to say, well, I don't think I should try at all, because anyway, when I stop, I'll still add weight. Any system that you choose to lose weight should be a system that you think is sustainable, or you should have another plan to maintain the weight loss once you get to the weight you want. So the method that I use that helped me lose 16 kilos of my weight is a ketogenic diet. A lot of you have heard about it. Right now it seems to be a fad, but it's been around for the longest time. Keto was actually developed by doctors. Some call it keto, keto, whatever suits you, but this is a ketogenic diet. It was originally begun by doctors for people who are having seizures, because it is known to reduce seizures. And if this is something that you deal with, you may want to do your research on it and speak to your doctor about it. But these are the reasons the ketogenic diet was begun. It did not begin as a weight loss fad. It began as a life-saving health lifestyle change to help people. So when I did this ketogenic diet, I was at 80 kilos. I just had a baby. I was 4 months postpartum. My weight had gone to 75 after marriage and a child. And I was usually on my lower 60s before marriage. And at that weight, for me, somehow I look really, really thin. But I'd slowly climbed through the years to 75 kilos. Then I'd gotten my second baby, our miracle son. And now I had reached 80 kilos. 4 months postpartum, and it was just climbing. And I was like, my goodness, if I don't do something about this, I'm gonna end up 90 kilos, 100 kilos. This is how it happens. This is how it happens, people. And I said, I have to do something. Of course, I prayed. I said, God, show me what to do. I've tried many things. I'm not obese, but I'm not happy about my weight. And I want to be able to go down so that my weight doesn't keep climbing. I started the ketogenic diet in June of 2017. My baby had been born in February 2017 at 80 kilos. So June to July to August to September to October. 4 months later in October, I was 16 kilos down. And the amazing thing about ketogenic diet, it works. It is extremely effective, but don't get me wrong, it's extremely hard. And at the same time, it's extremely wonderful because you don't feel deprived while you're on it. As long as you can forget carbs and learn to enjoy other things that you usually love and you usually have to restrict, you will make it on the ketogenic diet. So I went down to 64 kilos. Actually, I hit 63.8, 63.9. That's the lowest I got to. Anytime you lose weight, there's the lowest weight that you will get to. And then after you go back to regular eating, or now what you want to do to sustain weight loss, your body might add a little bit of weight and you settle. I call that now your new weight. So when I got to 64, let's call it 64 kilos, then I added 2 kilos and I settled at 66. I was there for almost 2 years. I would go 67, sometimes 65, but just because of the ketogenic diet, I sustained that weight loss, and I wasn't doing 100% keto. I'll explain to you why in my next video, how it affected me negatively and why I couldn't do it fully. So I would eat a banana every day for potassium, and I would eat some sweet potatoes, and still I lost all this weight. So I know it works. It's not as fast as the fat diets where 1 week you lose 7 kilos or 1 week you lose 3 kilos. With keto, I was losing 100 grams, 300 grams, 500 grams, 200 grams a day. On average, I was losing a kilo a week. So in a month, I lost 4 kilos, and that's why in 4 months, I had lost 16 kilograms. It is slow but sure. Your weight falls off until you think, oh my goodness, I didn't think this was possible. I didn't imagine I would ever see my tummy flat again. I didn't imagine my waist measurement would ever be this low again. I didn't imagine my hips could be this small again, and I could fit into a size 12 or a size 10 again. But it happens, and it happened to me on the ketogenic diet. And how the ketogenic diet works is this: you eat high fat, moderate protein, and low carb, very, very low carb. High fat, moderate protein, and very low carb. And how it works is that your body can burn two types of fuels. Your body can burn sugar and your body can burn fats. The body runs more efficiently burning fat. Why? Because it breaks it down slower, and fat produces more energy to the body. It burns slower, it's more effective and efficient. It doesn't release so much sugar into the system all of a sudden and cause a rise and then a fall. It is a more consistent burn. But the body prefers to burn sugar if it has to choose between the two, because sugar is easier. So if you eat high fat and high carb, which is sugar, then your body will burn the carbs and store the fat, because it's easier to burn this sugar, and also it needs to get rid of all this sugar in your system so that it doesn't raise your own blood sugar and utilize it for your energy. So in the ketogenic diet, you get rid of the sugar. It is so minimal, it's almost not noticed by the body. So the body begins to burn fat, and also you encourage the body to burn fat by eating fat. So the body is thinking, oh, so we are still eating, we are not starving, oh, so we are burning fat. I get it. So it burns the fat that you eat, and it begins to burn the fat in your system. Every item of food that you eat has what is called a carb count. Just remember this. Many people know about counting calories, but with this system I learned how to count carbs. All foods have carb counts. The carb count of a food is the amount of sugar that it breaks down into, because all the foods break down into something. The foods that break down into the most sugar have the highest carb count. For example, starches have the highest sugars. Your flours, your starchy vegetables, your fruits, those have the highest sugars. They break down into the highest sugars in your system. And then your fats and your oils have the lowest carb count. So although people have been trained to fear fat and to fear oil when they're losing weight, they don't realize that these have the lowest carb count, the lowest sugar. So they have the lowest potential of causing your body to release insulin to burn up carbs and store fat. Instead, the body will burn up the fats because there are no sugars, or there are barely any sugars when you eat a diet that's high in fat. So that's how it works. Your consumption of carbs becomes so low so that the body now burns the fat so that it can sustain energy for you. So instead of counting the calories in foods, in the ketogenic diet, you learn to know about the carb count of foods. And as a rule of thumb, starches have the highest, carbs have the highest sugar, and of course sugar itself and sweeteners like honey and agave nectar. But people are eating them thinking that they're healthy, but these are processed and they're not good for you. I know people who, because they're diabetic, are avoiding fruits, but they're eating their white chapatis or white bread. They don't realize that your chapati, your white bread, your mandazi has more carbs than fruit. The best foods for keto have a carb count of 4.5 or less. So you keep the carbs really low, and then you take up your fat so that your body has energy and you don't lack energy. And fats help you feel satiated, so you're not starving. I loved this diet because I was not starving. I was eating. Anytime I was hungry, I was eating, and it taught me how to eat. So when you eat like this, your body goes into a state called ketosis, where it has become so efficient at burning the fats, and it releases the ketones that are the ones producing energy for your body. Ketosis is not bad when caused by eating low carb and when you're perfectly healthy. This is not to be confused with ketoacidosis, which happens when someone has type 1 diabetes. All right, so actually someone who has type 1 diabetes should not try this diet. Ketosis is good for you. Ketosis helps cleanse your system of carbs and helps your body learn to burn fat. Ketoacidosis is a toxic situation that could even be fatal, and it happens in people with type 1 diabetes when they try to make some of these changes, which they should never try without the consultation and the advice of the doctor. So let's talk about healthy fats that you're supposed to eat on the ketogenic diet. We are talking your healthy cooking oils and fats. Coconut oil. You're talking about lard. Luos even have more nyaluo that you get from the fat of the animals, which when you're eating healthy, you're taught to throw away. Now in keto, you can have all that again. In keto, you can cook with butter, Oh my goodness, you can make your steak, your food with butter, because these are healthy butters. Of course, the healthier the butter. I don't even know if we have grass-fed butter in this country, but I know abroad they use grass-fed butter. The healthier the oil, the better. The healthier the fat, the better. You can use your avocado oil to cook. You can use your ghee. In the ketogenic diet, you can cook with these healthy fats. Avoid vegetable fats and oil. Research has shown vegetable oils are full of inflammation-causing chemicals, and the process that makes them also makes them have a lot of toxins. They cause inflammation in your system, which is not good for you and makes you prone to sicknesses and diseases. So these are the good fats, your avocados as well. Dairy. In keto, we could eat dairy. I think that's what won me over with keto, as in I could do cheeses, all kinds of cheese, your cheddar cheese, your mozzarella cheese, your cream cheese. You could do full fat. The fatter the better. In fact, in keto, you're not allowed to do low fat, because low fat anything usually means high carb. They compensate for the natural fat by processing it, which increases its sugar. And this is the sugar that you're avoiding, which is what actually makes us add weight. In keto, you can do cream, your whipped cream, your double cream, your whole cream, your full cream. The creamier, the better. You can do your yogurt, full fat yogurt, but with no sugar. And that's where now comes in the sweeteners. I used sweeteners in my keto diet. I believe the best way to lose weight and to sustain a lifestyle change is to have healthy options, not to try and go cold turkey. Sometimes people go cold turkey. I'm not having sugar, I'm not having wheat, I'm not having starch, and then they sustain it for a while, and then they have this super craving and they binge like the world is ending. So I prefer to have a healthy option. Is there a better way I can do this so that I get a feel of what I'm used to and I enjoy, and I don't feel like I'm being deprived, and yet I'm not harming my body with something unhealthy? So I used sweeteners. I use stevia. I use erythritol to bake. You can use xylitol, and you can use monk fruit, I think it's called. These are healthy, natural sweeteners. And be very careful, Kenyans, you know Kenya. Don't buy something that says stevia, but if you read the fine print, it actually says such and such with stevia. So it's another sweetener with a little stevia, but the stevia name is the one that's blown up. So be very careful. I've seen people claiming that they use stevia, but if they read the label carefully, they realize they're not using stevia. It's another sweetener which has a little stevia, but because of marketing, the owners of the company have put the name stevia very prominent, because they're counting on a number of people not to read the label. So when you have dairy and you have sweetener and you have the keto fruits, which we're going to talk about, then you can have smoothies. I had all the smoothies I wanted. So imagine you're on diet, you're eating all the fat you want, you're eating the cheeses you want, you're eating the creams you want, you're eating avocado, you're having sweetener, so you can make sweet snacks. And keto has these things called fat bombs, as in they give you recipes to help you increase your fat intake. And these fat bombs are usually desserts, sweet natural desserts that you can make so that you increase your healthy fat intake to give your body energy. So of course you're eating sweet stuff and you're eating fatty, luscious, healthy tasting stuff, and you're not feeling deprived. And this is one thing I really liked about keto. I'm hoping to do a part 2 of this video talking about the pros and the cons, and I'll be as real as you can possibly imagine just to share with you. And this was one of the pros for me. I did not feel like I was on diet. I did not feel deprived because of the fats, because of the dairy, because of the sweeteners. Let's talk proteins. You're supposed to eat moderate protein on the ketogenic diet. All meats can be eaten on the keto diet. You can eat your beef, you can eat your lamb, you can eat your pork, your white meats, your chicken, your fish, your seafood. All these are permissible on the ketogenic diet. You can even do your cold salad meats, your salamis and ham and bacon. Bacon is big in the ketogenic diet. You can literally chop your bacon into your vegetables as you're cooking them. You can put it in your salad. You can put it in your keto bread to make a sandwich. You can eat your prosciutto. You can eat all these salad meats, which made keto just fantastic. So For breakfast in keto, you're literally spoiled for choice. In other nations, they have like natural sausages and natural ham and natural bacons, which have much less chemicals than probably the ones we have in our market. I don't know if there's anyone in this country doing these good options of healthier salad meats with very little or no chemicals at all. If you do know, let us know. There are companies that make their own sausage at the butchery as you wait. Is there any butchery that does that in this country? Of course, that is always the better option. And if you know about it, let us know so that we can buy it at a better place. However, a disclaimer about sausage. Sausage does have some carbs depending on where it's made and how it's made. So before you stock up on it and eat a lot of it, look at the carb count. Ideally, it should be below 4.5 carbs. Net carbs. If you remove the amount of fiber from the amount of carbs, which is the sugar, then you get your net carbs. So watch out with the sausages. Some of them have really high carb depending on what is in the sausage. But all these are permissible on the ketogenic diet. So you're spoiled for choice. Now, this is important. On the ketogenic diet, you're not allowed to eat plant proteins because a lot of plant proteins are very high in carbohydrates. Beans are very high in carbohydrates. In fact, I remember my mother-in-law telling me recently that in the diabetic clinic, they were told that beans are to be considered high carb for them because they have as much carbs of some of the starches that they're supposed to be avoiding. So your beans, your ndengus, your lentil, your dals, your Indian grains, all those are not allowed on the ketogenic diet. So in the ketogenic diet, you do not do plant proteins, but you do all green and leafy plants. You can do your skumas, your spinach, your cabbage, managu, sanget, your mrenda. You can do cauliflower, you can do broccoli, you can do your green onions, you can do cucumber, you can do eggplant, you can eat mushrooms on the ketogenic diet, or your green leafy and non-starchy vegetables are excellent. Carrots are a bit high in carbs. You can and be borderline as long as you watch your carbs. So are onions, they can be a bit high in sugar. So are tomatoes, but if you watch your carbs and you're really strict, you can indulge in them here and there, but just don't go overboard. So you have a choice, a wide variety of vegetables you can eat, a wide variety of meats, a wide variety of dairy, a wide variety of nuts that you can eat on the ketogenic diet. You can also have fruit on the keto diet. There are fruits that exist that are really low in carb. All your berries, you're talking strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. These are great for the ketogenic diet because the carb count is really low, and that makes the keto life wonderful because when you think these things, you're thinking desserts, you're thinking smoothies with your sweeteners and your dairy. Oh, you can have the best sweetness. You don't need to lose your sweetness taste when you're on keto. Just get creative. Find the sweetener that works for you. Find the fruits that work for you. Find the dairy that works for you, and use these combinations. There are so many recipes online. So many keto recipes, keto groups, keto people on Instagram, on YouTube. Follow them and get all these recipes so you can keep your sweet tooth going as you're losing weight. It's actually amazing. You can also eat your avocado. Of course, it's a fruit. You can do your lemon and your lime, not too much because they're also high in sugar. This is where the fruits are concerned. So on the ketogenic diet, you can drink water, of course, any kind of water, whether still, whether sparkling. You can drink broth. Keto taught me about bone broth, and it reminded me that when we were young, our parents actually used to give us bone broth to drink. It is rich in minerals because the bones are full of minerals, whether you're using goat or cow or chicken bones. And that's why they say chicken soup is good for your health, for healing a cold. It's because you pump your body with electrolytes, the minerals, when you take bone broth. So you can drink bone broth, you can drink your yogurts, your high fat yogurts, you can make smoothies with them, you can drink coconut water. One thing I learned on this diet is to drink coconut water, one of the best foods on earth. Madafu, the one you get at the coast where they cut for you the coconut and they put that straw and you drink it right from the coconut. The best drink, the best. And I'll explain why when I do the pros and cons of the ketogenic diet. So all those are things that you can drink on the ketogenic diet. You can drink your herbal teas, you can drink your tea without sugar, you can drink your coffee without sugar. Use the right natural sweetener of choice. Now there's something they do on the ketogenic diet called bulletproof coffee, and a lot of times they encourage you to do this first thing in the morning when you're learning to increase your fat intake, because it actually takes learning, because you think you've eaten so much fat and then you realize it's not even enough. So the bulletproof coffee is when you put butter in your coffee, or you put coconut oil in your coffee, and then you froth it so it looks exactly like creamer. And some people love it the way it tastes. Of course, the butter should be saltless and good quality. If you can get grass-fed, good for you, go for grass-fed. And then you froth it and you drink it, so it ups your fat intake right at the beginning of the day and provokes your body to realize, okay, we are eating fat, let's start digesting the fat. And as it digests that coffee, it also starts digesting the fat in your system. So you cannot use milk with your tea and your coffee when you're on the ketogenic diet. Milk is high in carb. Use butter or use the keto creamers. If you have creamer from coconut, if you have creamer from almond, if you have creamer from any of these nuts, then you can use creamers that use cream from the nuts, but not regular milk. So on the ketogenic diet, you can eat nuts. The best nuts are lowest in carb count. Always remember that word, carb count. Your almond nuts, your coconuts. You know, we don't often think of coconut as a nut, but it is a nut. Coconut is fantastic. I think it's even a superfood. Coconut is amazing. You can have your Brazil nuts, you can have your hazelnuts, you can have your macadamia nuts. A lot of these nuts are easily available in a regular supermarket at reasonable prices. 25 shillings a packet, 50 shillings a packet. Of course, you can do the more expensive nuts if you want, but no, you cannot do cashew nuts, which I really love, but they're really high in sugar, in carb count. Your pistachios are really high in carb count. Even peanuts are not really nuts. They are actually legumes that you should ideally not eat on keto, but there are people who still do and still lose the weight because they are low in carb count. Of course, with the nuts, it means you can do nut flours. You can make flour or buy flour from almonds. You can do coconut flour, and therefore you can make keto breads, and you can make keto pancakes, and you can have sandwich. And I learned to do keto mug cakes, which are amazing. You make them in 90 seconds in the microwave, and then it gives you this variety. With the nuts, you can have the butters. You can have almond nut butter. You can have your macadamia nut butter, which is even available in the country right now. Now, don't think it's a walk in the park. You would think that with all these options, then it's so easy. Why isn't everyone just doing keto and losing weight while they enjoy their food? Is because many of us do not know this, but we are addicted to sugars. We are addicted to carbs. And one thing I'm going to talk about next time, make sure you come back to hear about the pros and the cons, the reality of what was hard, very hard about it, and what was wonderful about it. I'm going to talk about the keto flu, because your body literally goes through withdrawal from carbohydrates and you literally fall sick. And many people who had amazing intentions to do keto actually fall off when they get the keto flu. The greatest addiction on earth is not drugs, it's sugar. Majority of people on earth are addicted to sugar, and the sugar means anything that burns into sugar, whether it's your starches, whether it's your grains, whether it's actual sugar. Majority of people are addicted. They don't even know it. They cause a lot of the lifestyle diseases that we are seeing in our day, but it's worth it to break off from them, to get healthier and learn a different way to eat. And it's so encouraging when you find other people who are doing it and thriving in it, and they push you on. I encourage you, if you want to do keto, look for groups on the ketogenic diet. Make sure they're following the food list as they're supposed to, and look for people who are doing it in Kenya. I found a group, the Keto Diet, online on Facebook. There was even a lady called Nyako Maber who was doing a book on keto Kenyan recipes, which was really useful for me at that time. I needed the encouragement just to see in a Kenyan context, what can I cook, what can I mix, what can I eat, and it really helped me. So look for groups like this to help you. If you know more about the ketogenic diet, if there's something I've forgotten and that you like to share, please share it below and encourage someone, something you did, something you discovered on it, or something that I forgot that someone can read and that can help them on their journey if they decide to do the ketogenic diet. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss my videos when I post. Press the bell button so you're notified anytime I post. I'll be so glad to have you around, and I know you'll be blessed by the content in this channel. See you next time.